Hey, we are two Star Wars nerds, and today we are talking about the Pirates arc in the Clone Wars animated series.
Yes, we are.
What we are doing is we are going through every single arc in chronological order, because honestly, that is the best
way to
watch this show. Mm-hmm. Why did we never do this before?
I don't know. Why
Seriously.
are we so late to the game? I'm not sure.
I don't know. We just had to be different.
Well, I've never had to look up how to watch a show. I normally just put it on and place the right order.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Season 1 is a little better with keeping things in line, but stuff does hop around a lot. Mm-hmm. So this arc, this is going to be a shorter video. It's only 2 episodes, and it's also, to be honest.
A lot happens.
Yeah, but what we want to do with these is we want to talk about what we like. Mm-hmm. If it ever comes down to it where we can't honestly say anything we like, I don't know.
Skip the arc, probably.
We'll just say, hey, we just didn't talk about this because we didn't like it. Mm-hmm. But there's some stuff we like in this. Mm-hmm. So, quick overview. Basically, you find out there is this plot for Anakin to fake being captured to get to Dooku, so then they could try and capture Dooku. This whole kind of, okay, we're going to bait and switch kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And so, obviously, Anakin is broken out, and Dooku flees. This chase ensues. They crash land on Vancouver. And then Hondo comes, and basically they're kind of like pillaging. And
right.
Hondo's actually very different, in season 1 as he is later. And you actually brought up a good point we'll get to in a moment. But he offers to take Dooku to Florum, and basically he saw his lightsaber, but Dooku didn't know that, and he's going to extort him and use him as ransom, and steals his lightsabers, all of this, puts him in chains, and he basically says, hey, well, if the Separatists would pay money for you, they're just going to send a whole fleet of droids here. So why don't I actually just hand you over to the Republic? Mm-hmm. And there's this funny line at the end of this episode, S1E11, Dooku captured, where Anakin basically says, I don't get it. How could drunken pirates capture Dooku? It's kind of how I feel about the arc, but you made some good cases for it. But then S1E12, the Gungan general, not a whole lot happens. There's a lot moving, but mm-hmm. basically Anakin, Obi, and Dooku are all imprisoned and chained together. Mm-hmm. And Jar Jar and some clones and another Jedi Master.
Senator.
Another senator who actually passes away because of all this stuff. They are basically used to help create some pushback and free Anakin and Obi, all of this stuff, right? So that's basically everything that pretty much happens in the arc. So for favorite moments, what do you have in this arc?
I have a couple points. First thing that I noticed in the beginning of the Dooku captured episode S1E11 is it seems like they're really trying to establish the brother-brother relationship between Obi and Anakin. Mm-hmm. And at first I was a little confused because I'm like, well, how does Anakin see Obi-Wan as a father? I just don't get it. But then as I was watching it, it's because he's never had a father. So he just assumes him to be a father. But there's definitely a lot of bickering, a lot of back and forth. They act like brothers.
Yeah.
So that I felt like that they're just further developing from the prequels that brotherly friendship, that brotherly love. Mm-hmm. So that's cool. This is also the first time we see Hondo, and I really like Hondo.
Yeah.
I love him in Clone Wars. I love him in Rebels, and I'm wanting Hondo in live action, so
that'd be cool.
That'd be great. Hondo's awesome, and I think it's funny that he gets Dooku. What I was saying about the point, it doesn't really make sense to me how he trapped Dooku, but I get how he got Obi and Anakin.
Yeah.
Because he drugged them.
Yep.
And they were knocked out.
Slipped something in the drink.
Whereas I don't understand why Dooku didn't just force lightning, but that would have been a different story. So there's that. But as far as favorite moments, I didn't necessarily have an overall favorite moment. I just noticed character development, and I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
Another thing I noticed was Anakin, can never admit that he's wrong. When Ahsoka comes and saves them, he's like, oh, we were fine. And Obi was kind of like that too. He's like, yeah, we didn't need you.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, well, yeah, you were on your last breath, like literally. So just seeing that development and that pride and that ego in Anakin further develop. In the second, in 112, Hondo's able to capture the 2 Jedi. And I liked how when they were trying to escape with, they were all trapped together, Dooku, I almost said Hondo, Dooku, Obi, and Anakin. It seemed like they were all kind of playing their parts. Like, Dooku used the Force to unlock it. Obi-Wan was doing Jedi mind tricks.
They were like complimenting each other.
Yeah, Anakin had kind of like the Force, not the Force, but power force to like leap, and just his agility. So that was kind of cool how they, even though they do not like each other, that they were like, let's work together. And even Obi grabbed Dooku when he was falling.
Yeah.
I was like, you could have just let him fall. So those were some things that stuck out to me that I did enjoy in this arc. And like I said, I'm a huge Hondo fan, so it's cool to see him introduced into the story.
And for me in particular, Hondo was kind of what made this arc. I'm not a huge fan of the arc, but I do like Hondo and the pirates, and I always think it's fascinating because you see separatists and the Trade Federation and the Jedi and the Sith and the Republic and the clones, and you see all this stuff. And then to see the pirates, like these renegades, like, and bounty hunters as well, to see them going around doing their own thing, I always really, really like that. To be honest, I think for me, it kind of begins and ends with Hondo and his pirates. I think it's great, especially for a kid's show. They didn't make it too dark and too seedy. They just made it to where it's like, okay, you get that these are some bad dudes. And like in particular, there is a scene, and we might even see it right here on screen, but there's this little scene where these 2 pirates are fighting, and like right here, one of them gets, the Jawa gets punched, and then they start fighting. This Jawa like jumps in, stuff like that in the background that keeps happening, and I thought that was pretty entertaining, and I like that kind of immersion.
Intentional detail, yeah.
Yeah. So let's just get into rating this. Out of 10, what would you give this?
I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 10. It wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. And I really like Hondo. There's not necessarily anything I hated or anything. It's just not a lot happened for me. But I enjoyed the episodes. I enjoyed the arc. So it's lower, but it's not necessarily bad either. There's just a lot of good action-packed arcs that I've seen in Clone Wars so far. Yeah,
for me as well, 5 out of 10. I would honestly, if I were going to rewatch this and I wasn't like a purist and I had to watch everything, I would probably skip it. But it is cool that you get introduced to Hondo, so that's the thing that's kind of keeping me binded to it. At the end of the day, I don't dislike it. It's just slower. It's not filler, but it's not like moving the story. It's kind of in this weird in between. But at the end of the day, we get Hondo. So that's super cool. Because everybody loves Hondo. So with that, we are 2 Star Wars nerds. We're going through every single arc of the Clone Wars animated series in chronological order. And we are 2 Star Wars nerds. May the Force be with you always.